What is good? We're back. We've got so much camp hype. We wanted to see what it was doing in our mocks and maybe to some dynasty rankings. So we're going to talk about some hot players and kind of see where they're coming in some rankings and overall camp hype is doing to these guys and whether we're buying or selling it here. So, Big Co, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. It's dynasty fantasy football at its best. We can overreact, maybe underreact, maybe a little something in the middle. No, this all matters. I mean, especially like you get this camp hype, man. We've been waiting for months and months for players to actually take the field so we could talk about some new stuff. We get some new information. So we've been starving for it. So this is where you strike. This is how you strike in dynasty, right? So
Of course.
use this information wisely. Wisely being the key term there, Casey.
Right. So, you can get caught up in some confirmation bias, but it can also tell you some stories. It can also trick you a little bit. So you got to wade through some stuff. But on a lot of the bigger guys that we're going to talk about today, like we're going to start off with George Pickens. I don't think anybody thinks that there's lacking of talent there. It's always been George versus George. And now we're in a situation where, I'm sure that'll show its face at some point. You're in a new place, so everything's great, right? But I do think this ecosystem of what's going on has certainly propelled George Pickens up the rankings, up the mock draft boards. And I think the drumbeat's growing louder and louder. He's currently at 6, 7, 8, but we've been seeing him going higher and higher in mocks. And when the next version of the ADP comes out in a week or two, we'll see that. We'll see a jump because I've been in them all and I've seen just Pickens just getting more amped up. So, are we moving him up our rankings at all, or how are we viewing George Pickens at the moment, or are we going to try to capitalize and sell?
Well, sure. I mean, at this point, like I can't sell before week 1. It's too late. It's too late to sell before we're going to put this man on the field. And I think there's a 3 touchdown game in this man's near future, right? It's coming. If Dak is healthy and CeeDee Lamb is healthy, offensive line is much improved, Pickens is going to do work. I think all of the outrageous steam that this man is getting is completely justified. It is hilarious that I saw some camp hype today talking about how the Cowboys are impressed with his professionalism, right? And right, like I've been on Pickens since week 1 rookie season, right? So like, welcome to the party, everybody. It was a turbulent ride. It was an old school roller coaster, right? It was bumpy even when it was smooth. So it's been wild, but there is no doubt about it. He's about to have his most productive stretch. Is it going to be 3 weeks? Is it going to be 13 weeks? Is it going to be 3 seasons? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Will I sell him? Absolutely. We got to, you and I got a show lined up to talk about where I did sell him in one of my dynasty leagues. It was in a really good trade. It was a really good package. I can sell Pickens, but that's like because I got like 13, 14, 15 dynasty leagues, and I got like 18 shares of Pickens. That's how much Pickens I got. That's why I sold one of them. I wouldn't go selling Pickens right this minute unless it was an overpay from the other side. If you were getting a big fat check for Pickens, then I could do it. But right now, just ride that wave up because I don't think, he's not like an off the field, like, let me go get some bar type, like we haven't seen it yet. Of course, we didn't see anything coming with Judkins either. I think what you have, your asset and dynasty value of Pickens right this second is safe and getting better.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's going to be, well over high 500s pass attempts, maybe 600 pass attempts from the Cowboys. There's going to be plenty to go around. The running back situation is a little up in the air, right? But right now we're looking at the best version of the Cowboys offense and a healthy Dak going into it, who's, takes a lot of criticism, but that's kind of what the Cowboys quarterback does. Dak's a good player, right? So that's what makes you excited about George Pickens is you got CD, you got Dak, and you got George out there, throwing it back to the Gallup days, but an even more impressive human as far as ability on the field with George Pickens. So we mentioned kind of steaming up potential, maybe a little bit of rankings, but for sure we've seen him coming up in mock drafts. Would you rather take somebody like a Jordan Addison or a George Pickens?
Pickens.
George Pickens. So, right there, that's a boost in ADP. So Would you rather take somebody like a Chris Olave or a George Pickens?
Pickens.
I'm going to take Olave, but I'm also way higher on Olave than most people.
Dude, if you told me that I had to pick one player for the next 5 years, it's probably Jordan Addison. I just first of all, Jordan Addison has a suspension incoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pickens, it's dynasty though. It's just should
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. But I have the ability to trade Pickens and then week 2, week 7, week 12. Like I have the ability to capitalize on this massive output that's incoming. I think that Pickens is going to help you win weekly in the very short term. Again, I've been on Pickens for a long time now. The best, most talented player, receiver in his draft class is what we were being told. And, he had the injury and he had the George Pickens. I'm going to, fight everybody on the football field and get upset at times. And so he goes into second round to the Steelers. And then I still had him high in my rookie dynasty leagues. It was very, very tumultuous, but I think now with him going to the Dallas Cowboys is the absolutely prime position. So yes, it's wheels up. Everything that you're seeing right now for his dynasty value going up is completely justified. And I wouldn't mind. I don't mind selling it at the top. I just don't think we're at the top yet.
Yeah, I've got him ranked with people like Jameson Williams, George Pickens, Waddle, rookie Matthew Golden in that tier, but at the bottom of it. Were you taking him over Waddle?
Yeah.
How about Jameson Williams? And we're going to talk about Jameson just right after George Pickens a little bit here.
No, I probably got to draw a line right there. Okay. I'm a big JMO guy.
So what about guys like Devonta Smith or DJ Moore or older Terry McLaurin? Those are guys currently I have ranked above George Pickens in a tier above him. But it feels like Jameson Williams should be joining that tier, and it feels like George Pickens might be moving on up with him.
In my mind, as soon as you said Devonta Smith, I said, no, Devonta Smith is too safe. He's too good. I know he's blocked by A.J. Brown. I know he's blocked by the lack of pass volume for the Eagles, but he is equally as good of a non-get-in-trouble kind of guy as he is a football player. And that is not exactly where we see it. Again, man, I hope Pickens goes out and crushes, keeps his head on straight, gets the bag, and then continues to keep his head on straight and continues to crush. I don't know what's going to happen. I would take Devonta Smith in Dynasty over Pickens while knowing that I completely have a lot of confidence that Pickens is going to average more points per game than Devonta Smith the first however many games it all stays on the tracks. If it stays on the track 17 games and A.J. Brown doesn't get hurt, Pickens, right? Points per game. Still, the safety of what Devonta Smith is, workmanlike, day in, day out for the next 5 years. Devonta Smith, I don't have to worry about it. That equity, that value is safe on my dynasty team. I'd rather have him than Pickens. Who else did you say there? Because I blacked out when you McLaurin. McLaurin being 30 years old, man, I get it. I'll take Pickens.
An ageist. All right.
We'll be back with more FFD after a short commercial break. If you're as serious as we are about Dynasty, you gotta be playing on FFPC. They are now the proud home of over 2,000 Dynasty leagues, and not a single league has ever folded. Incredible. Drafts are kicking off every day, so go over to myffpc.com and take your game to the next level. New users get $25 off their first league using code FFD. Holler at your boys.
I still got Terry ranked pretty high. He feels like a pretty safe older guy right now. Obviously, there's a lot of tumultuous stuff going on with the contract.
Oh, yeah.
Washington would be insane not to pay him. I don't even know what you're doing right now.
You don't even have to pay your quarterback right now, Washington. They're going to pay him.
Just pay him.
I would still take Pickens over Terry McLaurin.
But I think I'm maybe going to we're going to end up bumping Terry down. DJ Moore, maybe down a little bit. I'm just a little worried about DJ Moore right now.
Yeah, I would take Pickens over DJ Moore.
Mostly just because it doesn't, I don't know. I'm not getting the vibe of that DJ Moore is just like a part of this new regime of the Bears, right? It just seems like he's on the outside looking in. And I don't know if that's going to hurt him in this season or not. I mean, he might be just too useful not to use him, but it just seems like things are going to go sour at some point, like real sour. Yeah, like right now, it's like,
Well, it's DJ Moore been plenty startable, plenty good, and more in way worse situation, So I think DJ Moore is going to be a fantastic value when guys like Pickens and all this training hype stuff raises all these values of these players. And Matthew Golden gets in there; he's a rookie. The guys like that seem more fun. I think there's a really good chance if you're doing a startup this year as a dynasty player that DJ Moore's going to hang around and he's going to be one of those guys at the top of the list of the ADP, and he gets drafted passed on, and then you could be swooping in there and grabbing him. But I mean, how much fun right now does it feel? Like it would feel way more fun to click the button on Pickens than DJ Moore right now, and I think that's going to happen very often. And I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, as DJ Moore slides down the board, he's not old. He's not Terry McLaurin old, right? He's got plenty of time. I got a feeling he's like 27 months younger than Terry McLaurin. I just grabbed that out of a hat. You said 28. McLaurin's approximately 30.
I'm looking at our broken down, not a whole lot of stuff on ADP, so more stuff's on it. We have all that stuff on the ADP, but ages and stuff. So I'm looking at the one I can see the most of at once. All right, we talked about JMO there. I think he's probably maybe the hottest receiver out of any receiver right now.
Jameson Williams goes up there with all those names all those names that Pickens passed. Jameson Williams is up there with those guys too for me, and maybe a tick higher in one or two of those players. Like I would probably take Addison if you had to tell me I'm in a league that's completely stale with no trades. I'd probably take Addison over Pickens for the next 5 years because I think everything about Pickens that we could say, but I would take Jameson Williams over Addison.
Yeah,
so I think keep pushing him up there.
I think Jameson is reaching the status of I think I'm passing Addison. Maybe a little less questions of what the quarterback play. Definitely less questions of what the quarterback play is, but then we have offensive coordinator situation where we don't know about. But Jameson getting just so much hype right now, unguardable at camp. Needs a contract. Man wants to get paid, right? So he's going to come out here year 4, potentially ball out. But we'll kind of see what happens there. But the biggest thing right now is that he is moving, like in the last version of our ADP, which is, a few weeks old at this point, up 7 spots. I think you're going to see him up another 7 or 8 in this next one, right? Like I just saw him get drafted at 602 was the last mock. He got drafted at 602. So, and that was above Addison. That's above DJ Moore. That's above Zay Flowers. That's above. So he's moving on up. Is he a candidate to kind of sell? And then I'll go back and re-rack the rankings here for a second, and we'll kind of wade through that.
I mean, I'm not selling Jameson Williams right now. I'm gonna enjoy Jameson Williams being in my lineup. I feel like, sure, the Lions are gonna lion, and they're gonna bring back my boy. Who did they bring back? Just Tim Patrick's back on the squad, sure. But they got St. Brown and Jameson Williams, and they're and probably Tesla in the wings training because they probably are not going to be able to pay Jameson Williams. And so they're going to be another team that pays Jameson Williams, right? Because I talked about this months ago. Jared Goff's got the contract. They're not letting Jahmyr Gibbs walk. St. Brown's got a top 5 wide receiver contract. We got 2 massive contracts on the offensive line, and we got defensive players to pay. I mean, that's everybody. I see all these people on Twitter right here talking about how they can't believe the Bengals haven't paid Trey Hendrickson. And we're like, dude, did you not see that they just broke the record for the highest paid wide receiver 2? And they got the highest paid quarterback, and they got the highest paid wide receiver 1, and they need somebody on the offensive line. Like, you can't pay everybody. So do they need a defensive player named Trey Hendrickson that's led all the players in sacks for the last 3 years? Absolutely they do. Are they going to pay a 30-something, 31-year-old man that's no chance he plays better in the next 3 years than he did the last 3 years? No chance he plays the same? I don't think Jameson Williams gets paid by the Lions. I'd love him to get paid by the Lions, but that's not how it's going to work. So, but this year, and not say, hey, it really drains me that there's so many times, but he's only got 1 year left on his contract, or he might get traded, or this. It comes up, and we talked about it with Breece Hall. If Breece Hall might get traded, so what? Good. If somebody trades for him, that means they want him, and it's an upgraded situation from the Jets.
Maybe. Well, not the Lions though. Maybe not an upgrade.
No, maybe not the Lions. But Jameson Williams isn't going to get a step slower when he goes anywhere else. I doubt he goes and signs up to play in Pittsburgh, or in Cleveland. Now they might be the two teams that want to pay him the most. You know what I mean? I'm just like outdoor city. Chicago Bears. Like they obviously drafted. But like a slow. He could go play with an outdoor team that plays in the rain and the muck. That wouldn't be the best thing ever for his, cat-like speed. But you know what I mean? Like Jameson Williams signs with another team. If it's not Detroit, when it's not Detroit, he's still going to be awesome. Right. So I just feel like especially this season, I think he's going to be a beast. Pretty much everybody stayed healthy for the Lions last year. So as long as it's not him,
entire defense.
Yeah, exactly. Put them in shootouts, but again, they play in like 14 out of 17 games this year in dome, yada yada yada. And they don't have. It's not like all of a sudden they just got these massive upgrades at the defensive side. Like they're still going to be in lots of shootouts. And yeah, Ben Johnson's gone. Well, guess what? Maybe there's not quite as many big touchdowns, and there's more catches to be had because they got to matriculate. You got to get that ball down the field. So I just feel like between St. Brown and Jameson, Laporta, the running backs. It's a very, very tight group of who gets the ball in Detroit, and I think Jameson's arrow's still pointed up.
Yeah, I mean, we don't exactly know what it's going to look like without the coordinator. It could be really good for Jameson Williams, though. He could definitely become somebody who gets even more volume and takes a little bit away from St. Brown because of the way that he's kind of saying there's a lot more freedom in here. We can move around, we can do different things. So everybody does things and draws things up a little different, and Jameson Williams might be a little more designed like at a higher clip of things that go to, St. Brown's still going to be great. I mean, really have to screw that up. But, Jameson Williams could be somebody who, is whose pie is going to get taken from. The chances that you come in here and have a new OC and you're able to just divide everything around like you kind of have been is probably not super likely, right? Somebody's going to get dinged. I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. He certainly wasn't living on volume last year.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He's got room for he's got some room for the volume to go up. But yeah, all right. So yeah, Ben Johnson left. Okay, it's not completely impossible to at least be about the same. I'm not going to say they're going to be better, but if we go back 1 year. Dave Canales left the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and somehow they got better. Dave Canales was our boy, and Dave Canales we trust. And all of a sudden, there's this dude named Liam Cohen, whose X's and O's are ridiculous.
Yeah, so like, this is a little bit different of a situation. Though.
Of course, it's different, but I'm just saying. 24 months ago, I had no idea who Liam Cohen was. It was Dave Canales, and so it was Dave Canales was the quarterback whisperer. He saved this guy. He saved Baker. He saved it. He saved Geno. Yada yada yada. Whatever. Like. And then he leaves, and Baker has his best year ever, and Liam Cohen is the savior, right? For the Jags, right? They paid him. You come over, you be our head coach. Ben Johnson goes to the Bears. Just saying, if that didn't happen, Ben Johnson, man-child, X's and O's, genius, yada yada yada. They say he might need to drink a little bit less coffee and get a little bit more sleep these days. Over there in Chicago. He's trying too hard. Already aged. They said he's aged 20 years and 20 weeks. I like the Lions' chances of being just fine and Jameson Williams being just fine as well.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Let's say Jameson Williams or Devonta Smith.
Golly, you had to do that. Jeez, that's a good one. Devonta Smith averaged
I'm taking
15
Jameson
points.
Williams.
Devonta Smith averaged 15 points a game.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Year.
He's good.
And AJ Brown was pretty much healthy. And they didn't pass it a lot because they rode Saquon. Yeah. And now Jalen Hurts has got a ring and there's no pressure. Man, that's a good one, Casey. I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think it's a wrong answer. I think Devonta Smith is the right answer, but I think Jameson Williams in my lineup week 1 feels a lot better.
I would talk about the coordinator, but I'm scared we're going to go 5 minutes well over what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to leave the coordinator out of this, but the Eagles are losing a coordinator and we've seen this go south before. So
yeah, we have.
I'm going Jameson Williams there. I'm going to shoot him up above Addison.
Okay.
DJ Moore's, I still DJ Moore is one of the hardest players for me to rank right now. How about
Mhm.
Terry McLaurin or Jameson Williams?
Jameson Williams.
Okay. DK Metcalf or Jameson Williams?
You're not going to like this. I'll take Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a little younger. I'm gonna go DK there, and it could be, I don't exactly know how this Pittsburgh thing's gonna play out long term, but I think this year DK is really gonna do a lot for his value. So I like sticking with DK there. Like I said, I got Chris Olave probably higher, so I'm not gonna ask that question. How about like a rookie like Emeka Egbuka or Jameson Williams?
I think dynasty value wise, right in a second, it probably should be Egbuka. This man's on fire. This man is absolutely. You couldn't ask for to see more of a about face turnaround. People threw him in the trash last year when he returned to school and didn't come out. It was like, oh well, you just lost your early declare. Now you can't be any good at football. And sure enough, patience is key. And now all of a sudden, he's like the best rookie wide receiver, right? So I think if you sit Jameson Williams to the Egbuka guy, he's going to say no.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. Jameson Williams in my week 1 lineup for sure every day. No problem if you want to take Egbuka over Jameson Williams because there's a fire under his cleats right this minute, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah. All right. How about Zay Flowers or Travis Hunter?
Heads up, Zay Flowers or Travis Hunter?
No, or Jameson Williams, like which Jameson Williams and Zay, Jameson Williams and Travis Hunter.
I'll take J-Mo over Zay. If it's best ball, I think Zay Flowers is a really nice best ball player.
Best ball.
There's dynasty leagues that are best ball. There's dynasty leagues that are best ball. I didn't go redraft. I didn't say redraft best ball. There are dynasty leagues that's best ball, and you don't have to pick those 11 catch games for Zay Flowers because they're out there, and there's probably going to be a few more of them this year, especially if the tight end, my boy Likely's hurt. I'll take Jameson Williams over Zay Flowers.
Okay. Travis Hunter or James?
Travis Hunter is still really, really tough right this second. There's something going on there. He still might get more catches than we anticipate. I'm gonna take Jameson Williams right this second, but it would not surprise me if at the end of the season it was Travis Hunter all along.
I think he's gonna play a lot more defense than anticipated. I think that man's too good on defense, and their defense is going to need it.
He is too good on defense. He's too good on defense for his own good. He's so good.
Right. Yeah. No, I've got Travis Hunter still ranked pretty high. I'm not drafting him, so I feel like I got to draft. I feel like I got to drop the ranking. I know the public isn't going to like it. I'm definitely more interested in Jameson Williams on my team right now than Travis Hunter. And Travis Hunter, that it could turn into something really awesome, right? It could be 2 years from now, Travis is a full-time offensive player, and he should have been the pick all along. But even at splitting, like I'm just going to take the full-time Jameson Williams. Even if Travis comes out and is good, like he's just like Jameson Williams is always out there. Like
I know. I've heard your say, hey, these guys are always playing receiver 100%. Like I get it, and it makes complete sense. I saw somebody post today or yesterday, like they were like they need to do like a study on this man's body because like even at training camp, like the wide receiver, the offensive group is stopped.
Training camp, he's gonna have a whole season under his belt. Like,
they said he's still going. They were like, all these guys over here are tired, and he just goes running with the defense, and he's running with the special teams, and he just doesn't take any breaks. And they're like, this shit is crazy. He's never tired. We've never seen anything like this. And they were like, they need to study his body. Give him a couple of CAT scans or something, see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is like when we do go into playing both sides of the ball and you're playing at the NFL level and the hits pile up a little bit, whether it's falling on your shoulder or falling on something playing defense or getting smashed playing offense twice in one game, how long, fatigue and tired are but like your body holding up is a little bit of another story. And I think it's a tough situation to be putting your body.
He's not exactly, built like Najee Harris to be out there never missing a game.
Everything is just really difficult for me to say, yeah, I'm so in at this price point. There's just too many things pointing against it. So I think I'm going to make a riser there. All right, let's transition.
How would you like it if we paid your 2025 league entry fee? All you have to do is submit proof of a 5-star review from Spotify and or iTunes, click the link, and fill out the entry form. Multiple entries allowed. Commandeer your friend's phone to quadruple your chances to win. Every losing entry rolls over to the next month's contest, all for your pleasure.
Let's go down to somebody like a Keon Coleman, getting a lot of hype, getting a lot of love right now. Up there in Buffalo, he's talking about how he's didn't like the rookie tape, thought it was shit. But the big thing with Keon right now is he gives, and we've talked about this before. We talked about this in the rookie year. Like, he gives you something different than a lot of the rest of that receiving core gives you, right? And there's plenty of people who don't like his explosive and his separation scores and this, that, and the third. Like, I'm willing to brush all those things to the side because of exactly how Keon Coleman wins at playing football. And I think he can do that with the Buffalo Bills and Josh kind of moving forward. 10-7 to me right now, where he's going is an auto pick for Keon Coleman for kind of
Let's go, Casey.
For what can be, right? Because when we get to that point of what's happening in that area, like I'm just loving, I got Brian Robinson. Yeah, I could take James Conner, right? I could take James Conner there and be excited about it, but he's kind of older.
I could take Brian. I like James. I love James Conner, but I'm not taking James Conner over Brian Robinson.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
Keon
Brian
Coleman.
Robinson's there. Like, I'm going to take Keon Coleman over Brian Robinson 100% of the time.
Okay, I like B-Rob a lot, actually. But
I don't mind Brian Robinson.
I came on here a couple months ago now. So super excited. I got Keon Coleman for 2 third-round picks in FFPC before cut downs, and I was just skipping my way to the bank, baby. And
I think
talk to him. Every mock draft on Monday night we did on our mock draft Mondays. I mean, I couldn't stop talking about Keon Coleman, 10th, 11th round, whatever. I'm glad that we can have this conversation together. Like, Keon Coleman's highlight tape from his rookie year is ridiculous. You want to talk about lack of volume? Sure, that's fine. My man was having the post-bye rookie bump. I don't even think they maybe had the bye week yet. I think they had a really late bye week, but he was having a post-bye rookie bump before they even had the bye week. And then he broke his rib, basically mangled his wrist, almost, catching a would-be, maybe catch it and maybe plow his way into the end zone. This man's got a lot of Des Bryant to his game. He's got a lot of Des Bryant to his personality. I really think you could say, oh, well, that's not how the Bills were playing football. Dude, every single season, teams morph a little bit and transform a little bit. And the Bills, they scored a lot of points. They're one of the highest octane offenses in the league. And a lot of it was on, James Cook's back of some rushing touchdowns and this and that. And yeah, they want Dalton Kincaid to step up. But Keon Coleman is there's so much there. There's so much there for when he only needs a couple little things to click, and he plays the type of football that Josh Allen can play with. Josh Allen is prime to feed a Keon Coleman. Is Keon Coleman going to have 110 catches? No, but he's going to do massive, massive work with the catches that he gets. And I'm super excited for this year's Keon Coleman. I love the 10-7 Keon Coleman. Love it.
Yeah, and I we've already in the last couple of mocks, I've seen him going in the 9th. So I think we saw a five spot change. I think we're going to see double that. I think we're going to see a full round change from Keon Coleman on this next one with hype, with just kind of where things have been, kind of going with him. And I think there's a lot to like from the rookie season. I don't think it's going to be in season. I don't think there's going to be a crazy Keon spike. I think we're catching the spike now. And then I think what his play on the field is going to kind of catch up to it. So I think he'll probably rise to a 7th-ish rounder here. Maybe not before the season starts, but I think that's kind of coming into next season. I think that's where we're going to start seeing Keon Coleman starting out. Right.
Yeah.
So I think we are definitely on a little bit of a Keon rise. All right. Keon Coleman or his teammate Khalil Shakir.
I'd rather have Coleman. I understand the flow. Khalil Shakir, I'd maybe week 1, 6 for 60, 7 for 70. Sure, I get it. But I mean, when Coleman's got much more upside. Coleman could get that 6 for 60 and 2 touchdowns.
Sure. Khalil Shakir could still be ascending as well. Seems like it was a big breakout last year.
I'll take them both.
Josh Downs or Khalil Shakir?
Downs.
Or sorry, Keon Coleman.
Downs.
Downs over both of them.
I'd rather
Now,
have
Shakir got thrown in here, but I meant Coleman. How about old guys, Cortland Sutton or Keon Coleman? Now I know there's nuances to how the builds go,
but I think Cortland Sutton's a fair amount higher than Keon Coleman in ADP. Correct.
Efforting here, but I don't think it's that much.
Cortland Sutton 9.5, Keon Coleman 10.7. So a round and a couple picks. I think Cortland Sutton's just probably like he might be like WR 10 or 12 this year again. Cortland Sutton's about to come out, continue smashing. You can't buy Cortland Sutton for what Keon Coleman is so much cheaper to go get off of somebody's team than Cortland Sutton this minute.
I don't know if it is.
Well, you're not getting Cortland Sutton for 2/3.
You're not getting Keon Coleman for 2/3 right now.
I just did.
No,
I just did.
When?
2 months ago.
Yeah, well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about right now. Camp hype. That's why we're talking about this guy, because he's getting hyped up. He's getting steamed up. People are excited about him. There's no chance you're getting him for 2/3 right now. None.
That's right, baby.
Zero.
That's right.
Zilch.
That's why you come to the FFD. That's why you come to the FFD and listen to us chat about this in the off season.
Yes. I mean, you taking Chris Godwin or Keon Coleman?
Oh, I mean, pre-injury Chris Godwin. Is that unfair to ask for? Can I get pre-injury Chris Godwin? I think it's Chris Godwin. As is that busted ankle, second surgery, 30 years old already. Give me Keon Coleman.
Yeah. Here's Keon
Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's name looks a lot better.
Cam Scatabo or Keon Coleman? I just pulled up a couple of trades real quick. Cortland Sutton, Keon Coleman, right? That's so crazy.
Head to head.
Yeah. 2 quarterback, 1 tight end premium, start 10, half PPR.
Let's go.
Here's just a straight up 2 for him. Here's another straight up 2 for him.
I'll give you a 2 for Keon Coleman right now.
Calvin Ridley for Keon Coleman. So I think it really just depends on where you're at. Like if you have a good team, then obviously you want Cortland Sutton on your team going into this year. But if you're going in a different direction, then swapping Sutton for
this. Well said. If that's the market value, yeah. If that's the market value of both players right now,
I think Keon Coleman's going to end up at around ADP of Sutton on the next iteration of this. So
I like that. That's perfectly said for a dynasty trade conversation. If your team is competing, like truly competing this year right now, and like if you had to rank yourself, you'd be in the top 3 teams of the league as far as chances to win the championship, then you should have Cortland Sutton. But if you don't think for sure that you're like the top 3 favorite in the league, or either you're really, really close and you're 4, but if you're anywhere below that, you should have Keon Coleman. I like it.
Yeah. Let's take one more swing at Keon Coleman here. Let's go Jaden Reed or Keon Coleman. I'm still taking Jaden Reed.
Mystery box. Keon Coleman.
I'll take Jaden Reed.
It's probably Jaden Reed. You got me shuffled up right now. I'm looking. Where's Jaden Higgins?
And we're taking Ricky Pearsall over Keon Coleman, right?
Yes.
All right. Kyle Williams coming in at 11.6. Drake May's hot in these streets. This wasn't dynasty wide receivers kind of dynasty discussion a little bit. We would definitely be talking May right now. We have a receiving core here that's a little jumbled up. And it's not quite figured out, but it seems like at this point, one way or another, Kyle Williams is how good he's performing. There's no way he's not going to get one of those spots on the field. Diggs has got a spot, and then it's like Douglas seems like he might have a hold on a spot. So it's like 2 or 3 guys fighting for the last spot. And, how much overlap, where is Kyle Williams going to play? What's he going to play? Right. So there's to me, there's like a little bit of mystery and question, but like somehow, some way he's going to be on the field a decent amount, if not all the time in 3 wide receiver sets, which is Booty, is he going to, he came out running with the ones. Is he going to grab that spot? We got a few other options that aren't quite as good. So Kyle Williams most likely on the field, getting some love. What are we doing with Kyle Williams? Would we rather have Kyle Williams or Michael Pittman Jr.?
Michael Pittman.
Ooh, okay. I'm assuming Calvin Ridley over Kyle Williams.
Calvin Ridley, sure.
Obviously, caveats are always, if you're skewing younger, then of course you want Kyle Williams.
Same Cortland Sutton, Keon Coleman comparison you just had, right? If you're like going towards the seller anyway, what is Calvin Ridley going to do for your team? Take Kyle Williams. What is Pittman going to do for your team if you suck? Take Kyle Williams. But and it's a wide open wide receiver room. Demario Douglas hadn't proved anything. They said he's going to get a lot of targets. I don't see why not. He's always looked good, but he hadn't. I mean, the Patriots haven't proved anything in a couple years. So Diggs just got there. He's 31 years old. He's going to be front and center for sure. He's going to be probably catching a ton of balls. But like, why can't a brand new rookie who's been tearing it up come in there and make a name for himself?
Right.
The entire organization is going through a massive turnover and a transfer of focus, leadership, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, daily activities, right? Like it's a situation over there in Patriots Town in a good direction. And I like Kyle Williams. Throw it back, hat tip to Chev 4 months ago. Gave you Kyle Williams at 2.8 in a rookie mock when he was in the 4th round at a minimum, and every other mock that would have been out there. You heard it here first at the FFD. We brought him in front of you. Chev put it out there, and here he is. He's everybody's darling now. He's going to do something. How much opportunities did he really get? The team needs to stay on the field and get first downs. Without the actual elevation of the offense, you got a couple running backs that are worth giving the ball to. Like I said, outside of Diggs, there's no wide receiver that demands any targets.
The main, like they've had a lot of success with slots. Pop Douglas is getting a lot of love, and it seems like he's gonna, like Josh McDaniels anyway. Seems like he might is gonna grab the slot role, right? And so it just feels like Kyle Williams is getting really hyped here. I think he's going to make some plays. I just feel like if Diggs and Pop's really, really grabbing on a hold of this thing and is crushing it with May and McDaniels is liking him, how does Kyle Williams fit in? This is a long-term play, right? We don't have to figure it out right away. We can still like Kyle Williams, but would you rather have Jalen McMillan or Kyle Williams?
I mean, I can imagine that Jalen McMillan. What's Jalen McMillan's ADP? It can't be anywhere near.
I'm sure it's way a lot lower. Less right now. And Kyle Williams is going in one direction, McMillan's going the other. But I'm saying, would moving kind of. I've got those guys similarly ranked.
I don't blame you at all. We know Jalen McMillan just performed at an NFL level and did it well. I think a week 3 buy of Kyle Williams is going to be in play. Like, I don't see, unless if he hits the ground running week 1 and he's out there with the starters and getting targets, then obviously that's out. But I think the camp hype and everything's going to get, super take off. And I think week 1 comes in and they're like, give it to Ramondre a couple times, give it to Travion a couple times, Diggs, Hunter Henry. If Drake May's not running for his life behind that offensive line, what they're working on, but still, you're not building Rome in a day over there. I think Kyle Williams will be a lot cheaper in week 3 than he will be before week 1. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. That's fine. That's fun. Kyle Williams makes everything more fun. But I think most likely you'll get him cheaper in week 3 than week 1.
Yeah, I was more so establishing if you'd rather have Jalen McMillan, you can go trade Kyle Williams and probably get a decent amount on top right now. I love
that trade. I would probably rather have McMillan if all things in a vacuum and I can't do nothing else and I just got to have one on my team for a couple years. I take McMillan because I know he's good. We hope Kyle Williams is good currently.
Yeah, let me see what.
You have to say that about pretty much every rookie anyway, but especially
There's 2 rounds in between them, but I think Kyle Williams, he already was a big jumper, and I think he's going to jump again, right? So,
well, you can't have all these guys rising up without somebody falling down, right? You don't all of a sudden get 17 picks in a round. That means just by proxy, McMillan's going down because all these other camp hypes are going up.
Right. One more question when we get out of here. We'll keep it quick. Obviously, we had some Rashee Rice news come. Rashee Rice currently at the top of my tier 3 of wide receivers after guys like St. Brown and Nico Collins and Brian Thomas, and a tier below them, but above guys like Garrett Wilson, Ladd McConkey, and JSN. Are you moving? I don't know where you would have Rashee Rice, but I'm going to assume that you're kind of around that tier for what Rashee Rice could be as the wide receiver 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Are you moving him down at all for the suspension at all? Like, is that something in Dynasty that you're concerned with? And 1 minute.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to using that in Dynasty. Looking forward to using that suspension as a way to get him. we're in the startup right now. Lab McConkey and JSN are off the board before Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice hangs around before we get back on the clock again. He's probably our pick. In Dynasty, I'll give away those 6 games next year, 4 games, 6 games, 8 games, whatever. I'll take him, put him on my bench, bring him back in second half of the season, be happy to have him for a cheaper price.
Yeah, no, I'm not moving him in my rankings, I guess is more or less what I'm saying is because if it's 4 to 6, I think that's probably what we're looking at from kind of everything I've been seeing. We don't exactly know yet.
Fine, put him on your team.
Right. And he's
use it as a buying opportunity, not a selling opportunity.
Right.
Don't lower him. Of course, he's 0 projected points for 6 weeks. That's fine. He's on the bench. He's not going to hurt you.
Yeah. I mean, redraft best ball, of course, you're moving him around a little bit. But all right, let's wrap this one up. We're gonna go talk some more camp hype, dynasty trades for your pleasure. Make sure you keep it locked and loaded. You subscribe, like, all that stuff. Until next time.